Hi guys, welcome to the Sober Kitchen. This is Marty, I'm your host. If you're coming back to see us again, thank you. If you're a first time visitor, welcome to the show. Sobriety, alcoholism, addiction. Were those things my life and ambition? Really? Believe it or not, they weren't. It wasn't my goal to set out in life and become addicted to alcohol. It wasn't my plan to lose my 401k. It wasn't my plan to lose my homes. It wasn't my plan to be homeless. It wasn't my plan to lose my job. It wasn't all because of alcoholism. I did not choose alcoholism. Alcoholism chose me. It chose me. No one in their right mind, no one that is not insane, would ever wish to become addicted to anything. Believe me, it is a life of pain and misery and suffering. No one in their right mind, again, no one in their right mind would ever wish this to happen. So I guess the point is I didn't aspire to become an alcoholic. That was not my goal. Now granted, I did make it accessible to me at an early age. I started drinking pretty heavily in college, as a lot of college kids do. Then I went on to pharmacy school and did that. Still had things under control. Life was still going good. There were times, of course, that I drank too much. Of course there were. Even before I got into full-blown alcoholism, there were times that I drank too much. That's not debatable. But I still was in control of my life. I was still functioning at a very, very high level. As I got older, for whatever reason, I don't know what the reason is. I believe scientifically that I was predisposed to it. For one reason or another, it was part of my DNA. It's part of who I am to have an addictive personality and have addictive tendencies. And what I'm trying to get at is that you can't beat yourself up about it because you have an addiction. No one chose to be addicted. No one did. 95% of the people that start out drinking are doing it because it's social and it's what everybody else does. It isn't because they have to or they need it to. But what happens is it triggers in your mind, and science proves it. Your brain channels get rerouted. They get rerouted, and you start firing on different neurons, and things start receiving responses from alcohol in other drugs, not just alcohol, just in addictive personalities in general. And what happens is once those channels start getting deeper and deeper, think of it as the Grand Canyon. It just keeps getting deeper, and it winds, and it goes its own way. And unfortunately, for people that suffer from substance use disorders, not just alcohol, those channels they reroute, and they go away from what is normal response to something that most people can handle. People that have a predisposition to alcoholism, it's destiny. If you start drinking, I believe that if you start drinking, it is in your destiny that you will become an alcoholic if you are predisposed to it. If it is in your DNA and it's in your mind, you will become addicted. I never thought it would happen to me. I thought I was one of these guys that would whoop it up and have a great time and be the life of the party type of thing. And I was 95% of the time when I drank, I was in control. I was jovial, I was laughing, I was having a fun time. What normal people that drink and socialize do. But as I got older, it became more of an isolating factor for me. The more isolated I felt, the more I drank to escape that feeling of isolation. And in reality, once your brain clicks over and you go from reality to addiction, what happens is you become more isolated the more that you drink. You think, your brain thinks, oh, you're sheltering yourself from being isolated. In reality, what you're doing is the addiction is isolating you more from what you enjoy, what means the most to you. Your brain just gets rerouted, and it doesn't function normal anymore. And the thing that, we talked about it with the bruising and the commitment to sobriety, is that you gotta just accept the fact that if you have addictive tendencies and you are suffering from a substance use disorder, you are not like everybody else. You're not like everybody else. When I was full-fledged in my active addiction, I would be sitting at a place and I would see people that would get up and dump out a little bit of their drink, put it in the sink, or just leave it at the table and just, pay the bill and leave it there. And I would just sit there, and in my mind, I was like, what the hell's the matter with these people? What are they, why aren't they drinking that? And see, that's not normal. That's not normal. It's normal for somebody that's in addiction. It's very normal to think that, boy, that's a waste. That's a tragic waste of booze. That's a tragic waste of dope. Wow, terrible. What's wrong with them? See, that's what the addictive mind does. It says everybody else that's not consuming to points that it becomes an issue. The addicted mind says, what's the matter with those people? What's wrong with them? How could they possibly leave that there? I don't think, when at my worst, I don't think there was ever a time that I dumped out a drink or left anything in the glass, ever. I drank it. I would slow down the drinking so that when the ice cubes dissolved, I still had the taste of booze from the melted ice. That's where I was getting to. And then, we talk about reconciliation, your life in active addiction against your life in recovery. And one of the great truths is, if you are new to recovery, or you're trying to get to recovery, to make that decision, we talked about it in the commitment to sobriety episode. If you're there and you're saying, my life has become unmanageable, right? It's become unmanageable. I've got to make the decision now to quit. Then you just have to quit, right? Oh, sure, it's that easy. Do you know how many times I had people tell me, hey, why don't you just stop drinking? Oh, wow, thanks. I never thought of that. Boy, I never thought that maybe I shouldn't drink until I go into an alcoholic coma. That never dawned on me. Anyway, I'm not going to go off on a tangent about it. But here's what I want the take-home message to be on this subject. You can't beat yourself up. You can't. You can't make yourself feel bad because you have a substance use disorder. You can't. You can't punish yourself for trying to get well. Okay? What happened. Excuse me. What happened. Okay, I became an alcoholic. I didn't choose to be an alcoholic. I believe me, honest to God, I did not want this to be part of my life. I didn't want to have to struggle not to drink. That was never my plan. That was not my life's ambition. Ever. So if you're in that pre-commitment phase and you're there, you know that you need to stop. Just do it. Just make the effort. Talk about think about the things we talked about in the commitment to sobriety episode. Just make the decision, seek some help, right? Seek some help, and then just do the pros and cons list. Boy, is my life better off in recovery, or is my life better off in addiction? You know the answer. Know the answer. And it'll become more and more clear as you move on into your recovery journey. The pros just they add up. It just keeps going like this. The pros are here. And the cons just keep going like this. Always. And the longer you're in recovery, the greater this goes. The higher this level goes. And you can reach your full potential. God didn't want you to drown yourself in a bottle. He didn't. It was not by design. You certainly didn't want to drown yourself in a bottle or to shoot stuff into your arms. You did. That was never your ambition. That was never your goal. So stop beating yourself up about it. Accept the fact that that's who you are. And now you're tipping the scales. You're trying to tip the scales. Not necessarily to say a normal life, but to a life that you can manage, and a life that you deserve, in a life that is full of hope, promise, in a better future for you, the people that you love, the people that you've lost. There's only benefit from recovery. So just remember, it was not your ambition to become addicted. It never was. Stop beating yourself up about it. Stop beating yourself up about it, and just keep going on your journey. Commitment to sobriety. Commitment to sobriety. Pros and cons. Get those scales going like this. Okay? All right? Get them going like this. You'll be happier. You'll be healthier. You'll have more meaningful relationships with people. You'll have the inner strength to shed the things that brought you down and kept you down and kept pushing you farther down. You'll have the courage, the strength, and the will to eliminate those things from your life. And it's an incredible feeling. I've lost just about everything that I accumulated over my life. I have a lot of strained relationships that there's a chance they'll never be repaired, ever. But I feel better about myself than I have in a very, very long time. And it's because my head is clear, right? My head is clear, my heart is full, and I know what my goal is. It's to keep on going in my recovery journey, to keep going and keep growing and staying sober. Stay sober. God loves you. From the Sober Kitchen, I'm out. Good night.